Here in Lloydminster, new construction projects are top of mind for Mayor Gerald Albers as he took some time to reflect on Council's priorities in the new year after City Council's first regular meeting of 2022. As Mayor Albers looks ahead to what's to come for Lloydminster in the new year, he looked back to projects that broke ground last year that will see completion in 2022, starting with the public library that opened at its new Lloyd Mall location.
It's really rewarding, I believe, for Council to see the library move to a ground level location, and a location that's handicapped accessible, that is a very center point of community at the mall. That's the first point that'll be starting in January.
The city's new wastewater treatment plant has been a priority for Council for years, and Albers says the building will be up in February and work on the interior will begin soon after.
Piping, electrical, mechanical, all the pieces that are going to make that facility work. We had an excellent year this past year for construction at the wastewater treatment plant. Lloydminster's
new fire hall will open in late spring or early summer, but as construction ends on many projects, more ground will be broken in 2022. With the location of the new event arena greenlit, the city will begin consultations with the community and the mayor will work to secure funding.
It'll involve me pivoting, talking with provincial and federal leaders about supporting that grant application, but we also want to engage the community as much as we can based on the challenges that we have to communicate and get into a room with people and answer their questions and hear their thoughts.
While uncertainties surrounding COVID still linger, Mayor Albers is optimistic about the new year. With 2 truck wagon events returning to Lloyd in the summer, Albers hopes the city can get closer to normal.
That we get able to continue on doing what people want to do and assemble at places like Bud Miller Park, pancake breakfast out here at City Hall during the fair and things like that. Excited about 2022. Just again remind people to be cautious. Let's get through this.
Rudolph's Roundup is an annual fundraiser held at the Lloydminster Comprehensive High School, and in this week's Beyond the Classroom, our Jasmine King has more on how this Christmas was another success.
For close to 25 years, the Rudolph Roundup fundraiser has helped local organizations and groups through donations from the school and the community. The fundraiser is coordinated by the leadership class at the school.
It's the first time in 3 years we really seem to get all students involved. So I mean, I got our numbers back from the interval home, and we raised $9,177 this year. Last 2 years combined, we raised about $9,500. So it was just a huge drive.
This year, the school got a lot of involvement with their donations, and Jeffrey thinks that's thanks in part to the students hosting fun activities and encouraging the others.
We really went with a different approach this year, is like every day just positive. We made announcements every day, keep track of who was winning, how it was going. I mean, this becomes a class competition, and some teachers really become competitive. Some classes become competitive, and they start challenging each other even.
This year's leadership class has 50 kids, which allowed them to have a further reach. As 2022 is their 25th year doing the fundraiser, they hope they will have even more success come December.
The kids and this and everything we've done this year has been go big, right? Make high school fun. And we hope to keep doing that second semester with other activities, and of course next year when we do our 25th.
And that's it for this week's Beyond the Classroom. Jasmine King, Primetime Local News.
At Lakeland College, our students are challenged to go beyond the classroom, so when industry knocks, they're ready to thrive. Learn more at lakelandcollege.ca.
Well, here in the Border City, we had another nice day, and with more on that, here's Shelby Clark.
Thanks so much, Jace. Yes, we did see another beautiful day here in the Border City. Right now, we are even sitting at +4 right now. So hopefully everybody's getting outside, enjoying this nice temperature. I know my co-anchor Jasmine said she was even at Bud Miller the other day, yesterday there, and there was lots of people outside. So it's good to hear that people are taking advantage of the nice weather while they can, because we will be dropping back to cooler temperatures later on in January. But with the wind chill, we are seeing some 19 kilometers an hour winds coming from the northwest right now, but we are still seeing a lot more sunnier skies. Switching over to our temperatures across the region for Alberta and Saskatchewan. On the Alberta side, we're seeing some nice temperatures, compared to what we are used to seeing in January and February. So I think we're pretty lucky right now, ranging from around 1 to 4 degrees in most spots on the map. Provost is just hitting that 0 mark, while Wainwright and Cold Lake are at -1. Switching over to the Saskatchewan side here, they're seeing around the same temperatures as what we are seeing on the Alberta side. Isle Cross is slightly cooler at -7 degrees, while down in Macklin they're at -1, and North Battleford is just hitting that +4 mark there. And for North Battleford, they will be going down to a low of -7 degrees for their evening low. They will be seeing a higher chance of some freezing rain throughout the night, and tomorrow they will be seeing -3 for their temperature, and they will be seeing a higher chance of some flurries as well to start off their day. For Cold Lake, they'll be going down to a low of -8 degrees. They will be seeing some cloudier skies, and tomorrow they will be going to -4 for their daily temperature, and they will be seeing the high chance of some flurries to start off their day as well. And for here in the border city, we'll be going down to a low of -4, with the wind chill will feel close to around -10 degrees. We will be seeing some cloudier skies, so we are still seeing a beautiful evening low, so make sure you don't need to plug in your vehicles, give the cord a break, and tomorrow we will be seeing that freezing rain to start off the morning at -2. But I wanted to show off some of your photo submissions. Thank you to everyone that submitted some weather photos to our Facebook page. You can continue to do so. I will use them throughout my weather segments, and this one's from Carol. Carol's always submitting these beautiful weather photos to us, and this one is here in the border city. What a beautiful shot. It kind of looks like a halo there from the sunlight. So thank you to Carol for submitting this once again. And that's all I got for now. We'll have more coming up after the break.
Earlier this week, AJHL roster saw some movement with the trade deadline. The Lloydminster Bobcats acquired 4 new players. Evan Kenny has more.
The AJHL's trade deadline was on January 10th. Earlier this week on Monday, the Lloydminster Bobcats were one of the more active teams. Joining me today to break this down is Lloydminster Bobcats head coach and general manager Nigel Dubé. Now, Nigel, your team has a little bit of injury, specifically 2 20-year-olds as well. Zafir Rauji has left the team to go to the Mount Royal Cougars. I guess just what was your mindset heading into this week?
Yeah, I think for us here, we were, looking, it was really quiet leading up to it, and there wasn't much movement at all. And we wanted to be aggressive if we could be aggressive in adding pieces, but at the same time, not giving up our future. So, we were looking to add a piece offensively. We were able to add a couple. And we had been looking, Evan, I think we had multiple conversations throughout the year of looking to add that experienced 20-year-old defenseman back there. And we were able to secure that in Zach. And, so we were looking at the approach of adding versus selling, which has been a different approach here in Lloydminster probably in the last 5 or 6 years. But we thought we were at a place with, Stewie going down for significant time here that, we could add in that area if it presented itself.
Now, Nigel, let's start things off with 2 players coming down from the WHL to your team. Both of these guys are local guys as well.
I think with Jordan Borchuk, we've had him here before. He was my first ever signing when I came to Lloydminster and played the second half. And, he's had some injury issues outside of that from there out, but he's back to healthy here. And we looked forward to getting him back to what he's capable of doing, and great human, works extremely hard. And, I think he's going to be given a role here to exceed at and succeed at. And, we look forward to that. And then with Reed's, played in the elite division here in Lloydminster from Irma. So considered a local, another one. He's got some upside to him. A couple tough years here with him, and with the COVID shutdowns and not having seasons, it's played factor into Reed. But we're looking forward to getting him in the lineup here and getting him going. And I think with some minutes under his belt, I think we can get him back to the player that he is, with a lot of upside offensively, and plays an exciting game with speed, and he's very capable. So we're excited about that.
Now, Nigel, let's talk about one of your trades. You acquired Hassan Hackle from the Fort McMurray Oil Barons, who you guys obviously know quite a bit about. You've already played all of your season games against them thus far. What does Hackle bring to your lineup?
Well, I think with Hackle coming in, I think the big part, yesterday I called Gord Thibodeau that coached him up in Fort McMurray, and he had fantastic things for him to say as a player, fantastic things for him to say as a teammate and a human. So those were pretty quick. And, you know, I think a big part with him, you look statistically, he's been around the league for a long time and had production numbers. And with Stewie going down and Zaf moving on to U Sports, we need to add that up front. And I think we were able to do that with him. You know, and I think we've talked about our ability and to create offense and needing to do that he's going to bring that to our table, you know, and he's going to be given a role to play a lot of minutes here and help us contribute offensively. And he plays an exciting game. I think he'll fit right into our lineup. He plays with excitement. We've seen him, you know, 5 of the 6 times this year with Fort McMurray, and he's a guy that gets underneath your skin. And then we look forward to wearing the Bobcats jersey.
And finally, Nigel, you added another 20-year-old, this time on the back end in Zach Whitaker. How does he change up your decor?
Well, I think age and maturity was the big one back there. We've been looking for a 20-year-old. You know, we have some guys on the back end that have played some really big minutes, you know, all season. And then we want to find something that we can bring those guys down a little bit, especially with a lot of hockey coming up down the stretch here. And I think a big part with Zach is he knows the North Division. He was in Bonnyville, so he knows the North Division. I thought that was really important. And then too, just to add to that back end with some experience, some maturity, you know, and to continue to move forward, so we can have some balance back there. And again, we have 2 guys out here long term on the back end, you know, and injuries factor into every team at some point throughout. And then we feel we're really experiencing right now with 3 guys out long term, that we needed to add some pieces here, especially with a lot of hockey. So, you know, we were happy with what we were able to do, and Zach was a piece of that on the back end, and he's been playing big minutes in Calgary, 22 to 25 minutes a night, and so he's used to that. So, you know, we're looking forward to getting him in the lineup.
Nigel, thank you very much for taking this time and joining me. The Bobcats will be in Grand Prairie this weekend. Once again, this was Nigel Dubé, head coach and general manager with the Lloydminster Bobcats.
And now it's time to head over to Shelby Clark, who has another look at your weather forecast.
Jace, now taking another look at your weather forecast. We'll be starting off with the central region of Alberta and Saskatchewan here. On the Alberta side, most spots are seeing plus 3 degrees right now. 1 in Red Deer, while Jasper is the warmest at 6 degrees, and Edson is just at -1. So we still are seeing some beautiful temperatures right now for the week. I don't think many people expected to see this kind of in the middle of January here. Switching over to the Saskatchewan side, Melfort and Meadow Lake are both hitting that 0 mark. 4 in North Balfour, like here in the border city. Cold Lake is just hitting that -1 mark, as well as in Prince Albert, and Saskatoon is at -2. So we are still looking pretty lucky for our temperatures in the central region, of course. Now switching over to our northern region, as you can see, they are seeing some slightly cooler temperatures compared. -9 in La Loche and Buffalo Narrow, as well as -13 in La Ronge. Flin Flon is at -16 degrees, -19 in South End, and the rest are reaching past that -20 point, with Uranium City at -20 and Wilson Lake and Stony Rapids at -24, -27. Switching over to this side here, they're seeing some slightly warmer temperatures compared to what the Saskatchewan side is seeing, with Peace River just hitting that 1 mark. Slave Lake is at +4. Grand Prairie is just seeing -3, so still at that single-digit point for Grand Prairie. Fort McMurray is at -9 degrees, while High Level and Fort Chipewyan are slightly cooler. Now switching over to our southern region now, they are looking pretty beautiful as well with those temperatures. Lethbridge has even reached that +10 mark right there. Medicine Hat is at 6, while Calgary is almost at that +10 mark as well at 9 degrees. 2 in Banff, and Coronation is just at -1. Switching over to the Saskatchewan side here, most spots are seeing +2 right there. Regina and Estevan are at -2 degrees. Kindersley is at -3, and Yorkton is just hitting that 0 mark. And as we go back across the region, the temperatures overnight tonight, we're going to be still seeing some beautiful lows across the region in most spots. We're going to be seeing some cloudier skies, but for most areas, we will be seeing those single-digit points for our evening lows. And with the wind chill, it will be feeling like close to -15 for most spots as well. Myrna will be seeing a low of -5 throughout the night, a low of -6 for most spots on the map here. Bonnyville and Unity will be seeing a low of -7, and Pearson will be seeing a low of -8 degrees, while Isla Crosse will be seeing a low of -11. But most spots will be seeing some cloudier skies and not too high of a chance of some flurries. And now looking at our 7-day forecast for here in the border city, we'll still be seeing a nice temperature throughout the day tomorrow at -2, but we will be seeing a high chance of some flurries, some freezing rain throughout the night as well. Friday we'll be starting off a warmer weekend at -5 and seeing that +2 on Saturday with a lot more sun. And then next week we will slightly be cooling down there with -6 on Monday and then seeing -15, -18 next Tuesday and Wednesday, unfortunately, but hopefully we will still see some more sun there. And now taking another look at another photo submission. Thank you to June who submitted this one online to our Facebook page. You can continue to submit them. I will be using them. This one's of Loon Lake here. It's beautiful, and you know I love my sunset shots, so thank you to June for submitting this one. It was a gorgeous picture of the pink in the sky there, and that's all I got for now. We'll have more coming up after the break.
Joining me via Zoom is the president of the Hospice Society on the Border, which is a local group that's looking to strengthen local health care with plans for an end-of-life hospice in Lloydminster. Before we get started, though, to Mr. Glenn Doe, I'll say thank you very much for doing this and welcome to the show.
I'm very pleased to be here. It's always good to be able to share.
So to open things up, since there is a lot to cover, would you mind just kind of providing a basic overview of all that your society is proposing here, as well as where progress currently stands?
Very quickly, what we are doing is we're envisioning a 10-bed hospice, a residential style hospice, that would take care of end-of-life needs. Our plan would be to have it funded in terms of the operational side by the governments, so that equal access to every person was available. We intend on raising the capital for the building and the facilities locally, and we have done quite a little bit of work on that already in terms of the primary needs. So that's kind of where we are initially. We're waiting currently for approval by Saskatchewan. It would be a Saskatchewan sort of umbrella facility, because that's the way the hospital works, and that's the way a number of things work in Lloydminster. So if we're successful in getting confirmed funding, then the Saskatchewan Health Ministry will negotiate with the Alberta Ministry, and therefore we will end up with the funding. So our funding proposal currently is sitting with the government of Saskatchewan, and we look forward, we have been promised by the Ministry of Health for an opportunity to look at it this budget cycle. And of course they have to plan for the years. We think our build time is approximately 3.5 years. And so somewhere around there, we may get it down as depending on how we've got quite a lot of things in place. So our shortest time would be about 30 months. And we think that somewhere in that 30 to 36 months, we could actually have it close to operational. So we're ambitious. We have been together for more than 2 full years of actually working on the project directly. Prior to that, there were other individuals, part of our group though, that had looked back on it as far as 4 years ago. So.
So my next question here, I think, is really important in painting the bigger picture in regard to the plans for this project. So for people who are terminally ill and maybe in their last days, what kind of support options do they currently have in Lloydminster?
Well, the reality would be if they're, depending on how ill they are or don't have any facilities, there would be the hospital, and it would have so many beds available. And my understanding is they exceed the number of beds that are assigned to that specific end of life situation. So they're often at 6 or so beds. Then there is home care if you want to stay in your home, provided the medical requirements are simple. That could be an option. I don't know that there's any other good options around other than those two. Of course, if you happen to be a senior that is in an extended care facility already, some of those nursing homes, etc. Some of those, of course, could accommodate that because of staff on and doctor availability. All depends kind of where the person is and what the medical situation is.
And just to add on top of that last question, I know you actually have some personal experience when it comes to making decisions and dealing with end-of-life healthcare options in Lloydminster. So would you mind maybe speaking to your personal experience?
Yes. Well, just using my own situation, as my father got near the situation, he was dealing with a terminal disease. And so, the hospital would likely be the place you would have liked to have been. He did not want to be in the hospital. Of course, he's lived his life with as much freedom as possible, and he did not want to be in a hospital bed. And that created a bit of a rift in the family because some really wanted him to be there with the best medical care that there could be. Others wanted him to have the peace and exactly what he wanted to do. And so if there had been that third alternative as a residential hospice, I think we could have met those needs together, and it would have been easier on the family and probably fairly acceptable to him as well. So we have heard these similar kinds of stories from a number of accessibility, the amount of family that you may want around, which isn't conducive in hospital environments. So to create a good end of life story for the family and the patient is what the residential hospice would try to do.
Once again, thanks for doing this, Glenn, and I look forward to updates on the future state of this hospice.
You're welcome.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Today for Primetime Local News, I am speaking with Mark Leslie, author of his newest book, Fright Nights, Big City. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Shelby.
Of course, we're glad to be able to have you on here. Now, I wanted to start off, of course, with you telling us what's all involved in this newest novel.
Yeah, in a nutshell, so there is a bunch of white supremacist neo-Nazi cult leaders who are creating supernatural monsters and trying to spread fear, hatred, and ill will across the United States. And of course, our hero, Michael Andrews, who encountered them in the previous novel in Los Angeles, discovers that they are infiltrating his home city of New York. And they're turning the city into the purge kind of territory where it's terrifying to go out after dark, reminding a lot of people of what it might have been like in New York in the 70s, in the Fear City era of that city.
Now, would you say, with you being a fan of Spider-Man, of course, and I could see by your shirt that this helped inspire this novel, or was there some different inspiration for you?
This one is sort of a continuing story of a main character, Michael Andrews, who is a werewolf, but you never see him as a wolf. You only see him as a man, but he has side effects. He has enhanced powers. And having grown up reading Spider-Man comics, kind of like me, may have been based on some of my own passions, Michael uses his powers to try to help others. And that's how this all kind of comes down, is he's constantly sticking his nose into trouble trying to help other people out. And that's how he first encountered this group in the previous novel when he was in Los Angeles. And so he's horrified to find that they're in New York, and he works with two other supernatural beings and a paranormal expert to see if they can figure out ways to stop this virus from growing inside the city.
For all the readers and your fans out there that have read your previous work, what would you say that they can expect with this newest novel before they read it?
Well, there's more action, there's more adventure, there's more humor as well. Because one of the things, Michael Andrews, he's my Canadian werewolf. And so he is this small town Canadian who is living in one of the world's largest cities. So he's a bit of a pushover as a human, but he has these extra powers. And a lot of, because he's so nervous when he's fighting the bad guys, he makes a lot of jokes, and it's a first person narrative, just like the other novels were. So there's a lot of humor, there's a lot of action, and there's a lot of emotional involvement too, because one of the things my readers have most enjoyed is this tension between Michael and his ex-girlfriend Gail. They're now really good friends, but they had been in a past life, long time ago, they had been lovers, and now they're friends. So there's a lot of that, the tension that people really enjoy when they see two characters are like, wow, they could be together, but they're not. So it's got all the things, and of course it does wrap up some of the plot things that had started to gestate in the previous few novels.
And have you seen some strong support now with this newest novel since it's been released?
It has been tremendous. I have been overwhelmed with the support from readers. The pre-orders were exceptionally high. The requests for the book into library systems as well, and just in parallel to this, just the other day, the previous book in the series, Fear and Longing in Los Angeles, won Kobo indie best indie book cover for 2021, and it's the same book cover designer. So I'm in awe with all of the amazing support that I've seen on this novel and the whole series.
For people that want to check out your work and this newest novel, where all can they be able to access this online and in stores?
Yeah, so the books are available in hardcover, in paperback, in ebook, and audiobook. If people like audiobooks, Chirp Audiobooks, which is available throughout North America, it's a free app. The audiobooks are all discounted for the rest of January 2022, and so and they're read by fellow Canadian science fiction writer Scott Overton. So lots of Canadian content involved in that.
Perfect. Well, for all you readers out there that are watching this, make sure to go check out Mark Leslie's Fright Nights, Big City, his newest novel. Once again, thank you so much for joining us today, Mark.
Thank you, Shelby.
Now ending off with taking another look at some overnight temperatures we'll be seeing across the region here. We'll be seeing some beautiful single-digit points, even without those wind chill. With the wind chill, will feel close to -15 in most spots on the map here. But Provost, Murnum will be seeing around -5, -6 degrees, as well as in Wainwright, Paradise Hill, and Meadow Lake. Unity and Bonnyville will be seeing a low of -7, while Isla Cross will be seeing the coolest with a low of -11. But most areas will be seeing a lot more cloudier skies. And now switching over to our 7-day forecast for here in the border city, we'll be seeing some freezing rain throughout the night into tomorrow morning at -2 during the day, but we will still be seeing a nicer temperature. -5 to start off the weekend. We'll be seeing that +2 on Saturday with a mix of some sun and clouds. So go out and enjoy that nice weekend while we can, because we will be cooling down next week starting off. -6 next Monday, and then we'll be seeing those double-digit points with -15 degrees during next Tuesday with a lot more sun, and Wednesday we'll be seeing -18.
Thanks for that, Shelby, and thank you for joining us for Primetime Local News. Our second hour continues next.